Hello and welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Alex. Here we talk about all things regarding financing, how to grow your portfolio in a safe manner, and above all, we try to have fun. Sounds like something you're interested in? Stay tuned. Okay, today we're not going to talk about finance. We're going to talk about the question I get quite often. Are you Canadian or are you American? Do you live in America or do you live in Canada? Which one is better? First question, I lived in Honolulu, Hawaii until I was 18. And I moved to Osaka, Japan, the Kansai area, for about the last 16 or 17 years. I went to college in Nagasaki, Japan, which is in Kyushu, the west coast of Japan. And I moved to British Columbia, Canada about 5 years ago. So I am an American, currently living in Canada and currently working in Canada as well. The next question I got was, did I go to university in America or did I go to university in Japan? Actually, a little both. I went to the University of Hawaii where I studied economics. In my last year of study at the University of Hawaii, I actually transferred to a university in Nagasaki, Japan. I had a job that I really, really loved, but I thought I kind of hit that ceiling and I needed a little bit more education. So I decided to come back to the US. That being said, I actually visited a couple universities in the US, and to say that they were expensive for your master's degree would be an understatement. And actually one of the counselors at a university that I checked out down in the US, they asked me if I ever thought about or considered going to university up in British Columbia, Canada. That counselor said, hey, you know, their education is on par with the US. It's all in English, North American English, and that it's transferable. And I said, Canada? No, I never thought about it. But when I saw that it was half the price as the US, I'm on the plane, I was out. When I got to British Columbia and I attended the university, can I say to begin with, even though a lot of people think Canada and the US are the same, yes, their linguistic characteristics within the language are quite similar. Yes, the architectural structures, the basic structure of the country seems a little similar. But other than the linguistic qualities of the people and the architectural style of the buildings, I think that's about it as far as similarities go. As a brown guy living in a predominantly Caucasian world, I have to say I was very aware of my surroundings in the US. Often when I would go to a particular location in the US, I was very aware that I might have been the only brown individual in a room, and I was very cautious to a lot of the things I said, a lot of the type of functions I would attend, and just my comfort level was a little bit different depending on where I went. Where here in Canada, I honestly never get that feeling where I'm the oddball out, even if I'm in a predominantly Caucasian setting. I've gone places here and I just felt like family. I'm not saying that there's not places in the US that have the same type of atmosphere. Just the time that I spent in the US, I never got that sense of actually belonging to any other group of people outside of my own culture. I actually spent a good part of my life, my younger years, in Los Angeles, as a lot of you know, and I grew up near the Santa Monica area. And back then, Santa Monica was a bit eclectic type of people living in the area. A lot of Latinos, but a lot of more of the left kind of Caucasians, so they're a little bit more accepting. But I was very aware if I went to Brentwood or Beverly Hills or the Palisades or wherever I might have went, it was predominantly a different race. The police let you know really quickly you weren't supposed to be there. And another reason I really wanted to make this video today is actually I got pulled over by a police officer here in Vancouver, and he pulled me over for a busted tail light. And when he came up to the window, I thought, oh man, I'm a guy, I've never committed any crime. I've only had one speeding ticket in my life. I am so not afraid of the police. Even though I'm a brown guy, I've never done anything wrong. So there's nothing inherently bad about the police for me because I've never really had any type of negative. No, that's not true, but nothing very, very negative that might have maybe got me arrested or put in jail. I had a few little run-ins when I was younger where they said I fit a description of an individual. That's neither here nor there. But to digress a little bit, so when this officer pulled me over, he came up to the window and he goes, yo, you got a busted tail light. And I thought, oh, okay, the old busted tail light gag. So I thought, maybe he's gonna yank me out the car, do me in. But he goes back to the car and he pops his trunk. And I'm thinking, but he's gonna come out with like an AK-47 or something. But he comes back around and he says, hey, can you pop your trunk? And I'm thinking, what, you looking for drugs? What are you looking for, dude? And he goes, no, just pop your trunk for me. So I go, I prefer not to. And he goes, don't worry, I'm not trying to do anything like that. I just want to help you out. So I pop the trunk and I could hear him in the back kind of like screwing around. And I thought, okay, whatever. Maybe he's planting drugs or whatever, but this is Canada. It might not be that bad. He comes back to the window after about, 5-10 minutes. And he goes, hey, your tail light was busted and it was out, but I have the same kind of vehicle you had. And when he had a rear view light that broke, he actually had a packet of 2 bulbs and he had a spare one. And he actually installed my broken light and gave me his spare for free. And I was like, for real? I mean, this police officer not only pulled me over, he was really cordial and super nice, but he took the time to change my busted tail light. He didn't give me a ticket for it. He actually changed my tail light. And I had people ask me, do I like Canada more than I like America? Every country has its positives and negatives, but I gotta go out on a limb and say probably not too many police officers in the US that are gonna change your busted tail light. I think they might give you a ticket, but I could be wrong. Like I said, I don't know all the police officers in the US, but I just thought, oh man, this guy is super cool. He took time out of his day to not only give me his spare light to replace my broken light. He didn't give me a ticket. He didn't give me like any headache. And when we were standing there, right before I was about to leave, he goes, hey, I got a case of water in my trunk. You want a bottle of water? I'm thinking, dude, what's going on here? Am I like getting punked or something? But I don't know. When this guy pulled me over, I just thought that's what I would love for all law enforcement to be like. Whether all law enforcement here in Canada are that way, I don't know. This is the first time I've had any dealings with law enforcement here in Canada. But I gotta tell you, I never had that kind of experience in the US. But again, US bad, good, Canada bad, good. I don't know. I'm just telling you about my experience. So to answer that question, yes, I am from the US, but I spent most of my life in Japan. はい、日本語喋ります。それと、奥さんも日本人です。And I spent the last 5 years here in Canada. So I do talk a lot more about the US stock market versus the Canadian stock market, but I do have shares in companies here in Canada. Just predominantly, I would say about 75% of my holdings are in the US. But there are some great companies here in Canada as well. It's just that some of those companies that I tend to lean towards are perhaps maybe the US or more the European market. That being said, you know a little bit more about me. I'm your happy Hawaiian, currently living in Canada, but live most of my life in Japan, if that makes sense. All right, guys, see you next video. Bye-bye.